This is Eureka Math, Module 4, Lesson 20, and our objective today is to convert mixed unit measurements and solve multi-step word problems, okay? And in order to do that, we're going to do a lot of the same things that we did yesterday. We're going to convert unit measurements, but this time I think we're going to see it's just kind of the next level. So let's go to the Learn book, please, and your problem set, Lesson 20. Don't forget to write your name on the page. Okay, and name here. Number 1, convert. Show your work. Express your answer as a mixed number. Okay, a mixed number. That means that some of our answers are going to come out as improper fractions, something like 9/4. And they're asking you to give your answer as a mixed number, so you would have to do that as 2 1/4, okay, just as an example. Draw a tape diagram if it helps you. The first one is done. Okay, so 2 2/3 yards into feet. That's what we're doing. Okay, so you know that 1 yard equals 3 feet. And if you don't know that, get out your conversion chart, okay? So let's do this. 2 2/3 yards equals 2 2/3 times 1 yard. Okay. We just took that measurement out. Now we're going to change 1 yard to feet. And you know, because 1 yard equals 3 feet, we can just easily convert that to feet just like that. And now we have to do our problem. Now there are two ways we can do it. The first way, which is what they've done, they turned 2 2/3 into an improper fraction. Okay, 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8, 8/3, and then multiplied by 3 feet. And 8 times 3 is 24 over 3, 24 and 3. If we divide 24 by 3, we get 8, and 3 by 3, we get 1. 8 over 1 equals 8 feet. Okay, that's when we use an improper fraction, okay? And then later we had to convert it to a mixed number, but our mixed number turned out to just be a whole. So here is the second way that I like to do it. We're going to use the distributive property, distributive. Okay, and you can do either way with an improper fraction or the distributive property. Instead of turning 2 2/3 into an improper fraction right here, we're going to use the distributive property. So I'm going to rewrite this part of the problem right here. 2 2/3 times 3. But here, instead of converting it into an improper fraction, I'm going to multiply the 3 times the 2 and then 3 times 2/3, okay? So that would look like this. 2 times 3 plus 2/3 times 3, okay? And that's just called the distributive property. Some kids like this better. Some kids like this better. It's up to you, okay? As long as you show your work, it's fine. So now that I've changed my problem, I can just say 2 times 3 is 6, plus 2/3 times 3 would be 6/3, right? And 6/3 is the same as 2, which would equal 8 and then feet, right? So if you like this way better, cool. If you want to keep your improper fractions, that's fine too, as long as you show your work, okay? Let's do the second one. 1 1/2 quarts equals how many gallons? Well, first of all, there are 4 quarts in 1 gallon. Okay. So you need to know that information. If you don't, look it up on your conversion chart. 1 1/2 quarts equals 1 1/2 times 1 quart. Okay. And then they've converted to gallons right here. Remember, if this is a gallon, 1 quart would be 1/4 of that gallon. Okay. And they've converted this into an improper fraction, so 2 times 1 is 2 plus 1 is 3. That's how they did that. And then we've got 2/3 times 1/4 equals, well, 3 times 1 is 3, and 2 times 4 is 8, 3/8 of a gallon. Now, if you want to use the distributive property, I'm going to use a different color, that would look like this. So here I'm starting here. 1 times 1/4 plus 1/2 times 1/4, okay, because I took this and I multiplied it by the 1, and then I multiplied it by the half. And then I've got 1 times 1/4 is 1/4, plus 1/2 times 1/4 is 1/8. And I can make this, and when I add fractions, I have to make sure they have the same common denominator. So I'm going to make this into 2/8, right? And then my answer becomes 3/8 of a gallon, okay? So this is using an improper fraction, and this is using the distributive property. Now in this one, it maybe seemed a little bit more complicated to do that. Your choice. Your choice. Okay. Next one, feet and inches. 4 2/3 feet. Okay. And we want to change it to inches. So that is the same as saying 4 2/3 times 1 foot. Okay. And then I'm going to change my feet to inches, so 4 2/3 times 12 inches. And let's use the improper fraction on this one. Okay, 3 times 4 is 12, plus 2 is 14, over 3 times 12. Okay, and now we've got 14 times 12. 8 and 2, carry the 0, 4 and 1 is 8, 6, 1. Okay, now we've got 168 over 3, and 168 divided by 3 is 5. 5 is 15, 18 is 56. 56 inches. Okay, so 56 inches. And we can estimate that if we know that 4 feet is 12 inches, well, 4 times 12 is 48, right? So you know that 56 is that 2/3 left over. That makes sense. Okay, this one I want to use the distributive property on. So pints and quarts. How many pints in a quart? Let me ask Siri. How many pints in a quart? I don't have my chart in front of me.
The answer is 2 pints.
Okay, so 1 quart equals 2 pints. 9 1/2 pints, okay, equals 9 1/2 times 1 pint. Okay, now I'm going to switch pints to quarts. Okay, so if this is a quart and this is 1 pint, that would be half of the quart, right? Okay, so there's my half. So 9 1/2 times 1/2 quarts. Okay, now I am going to use my distributive property. If you want to use an improper fraction, you can, as long as you show your work. I'm going to use my distributive property. I'm going to multiply 9 times 1/2 and then 1/2 times 1/2. Okay, 9 times 1/2 plus 1/2 times 1/2 equals 9 halves plus 2/4. And I can convert that into a same common denominator. So I'm going to multiply this by 2 and get 4, and this by 2 and get 18. And my new answer is 20 over 4. But in the directions, it said as a mixed number, so they don't want an improper fraction here as the answer. So we are going to convert that into 5 quarts. Okay? 9.5 pints equals 5 quarts. Okay. I feel like that's not right, but 19. Okay. Yeah, no, that's right. Okay. I think. Let me check my work here. I want to check my work on this one. 9.5 pints. Well, if there's 2 pints in a quart, that would be 4 1/4 quarts. Am I doing something wrong? Let me try it with the improper fraction and just check my work because I feel like there's something wrong about this one. Okay, so 9.5 times a half would be, as an improper fraction, 19 would be 18. 19 halves times 1/2 is 19 fourths. Ah, okay, I messed up somehow. How did I mess up? Ah, here it is, here it is. This is where I messed up. 1 times 1, okay. I knew that felt wrong. That felt wrong. Okay, so this is here, this is wrong. Glad I caught it. So this, 1 times 1 is 1, which equals 19 fourths. This is why it's great to have 2 different ways to do the problem so you can see where you made your mistakes. So 4 into 19 would go 4 times with 3 left over. There, that makes more sense. Four 3/4. Much better, much better. Next one, 3.5 hours equals how many minutes? 3 3/5 hours equals 3 3/5 times 1 hour. And then I'm going to change that to minutes. You know that there are 60 minutes in an hour, so 3 3/5 times 60 minutes. And let's do the improper fraction here. 3 times 5 is 15, 16, 17, 18 fifths times 60. So 60 times 18 is 8 times 0 is 0. 8 times 6 is 48. Drop a 0, 0, 6. Okay, which equals 1,080 over 5. And of course, they don't want an improper fraction, so let's do the math here. 1,080 divided by 5 would be 2 is 10, and 8 would be 1, 5, and that's 3, 5 is 7. So that would equal 217 minutes. Okay, and you know that 60 minutes is an hour, so 60 times 3 would be 180, plus 3/5 would be, yeah, 217. Okay, that was my estimate. Good. I like to estimate just to make sure that I'm getting the right answer. Okay, feet to yards. 3 2/3 feet equals 3 2/3 times 1 foot. And you know that 3 2/3, that 1 foot equals 1/3 of a yard. And if you don't remember that, let me draw you a quick tape diagram. Here's my yard, and there are 3 feet in that yard. So 1 foot would be 1/3. And now I can multiply. And I'm going to use my distributive property. So So 3 times 1/3 plus 2/3 times 1/3. Okay. Well, 3 times 1/3 is 3/3, which equals 1. And 2 times 1 is 2, and 3 times 3 is 9. So my answer is 1 2/9 yards. There we go. Next one, problem. 3 dump trucks are carrying topsoil to a construction site. Truck A carries 3,545 pounds. Truck B carries 1,758 pounds, and Truck C carries 3,697 pounds. That's a lot. How many tons of topsoil are the 3 trucks carrying all together? So we're going to convert to tons. First of all, we've got 3, 5, 4, 5, 1, 7, 5, 8, and 3, 6, 9, 7. Those are all in pounds. Okay? And all together, so I can add them up. 15 is 20, carry the 2, 6 is 11 is 20, carry the 2, 7 is 14, plus 6 is 20, carry the 2, and 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,000 pounds. So 9,000 pounds equals 9,000 times, well, how many pounds in a ton? Let me ask Siri. How many pounds in a ton?
That would be 2,000 pounds.
Okay, so there are 2,000 pounds in a ton. So we need to multiply, let's see, times 1 pound. Hang on. And a ton is 2,000 pounds. We want to convert that into, so I'd really want to divide, but let's see. 1 over 2,000. 1 pound. 1 pound goes into a ton 2,000 times. So 9,000. Okay, which equals 9,000 over 9,000 times 1 is 9,000, and then 2,000. Okay, now here's the great thing about all those zeros. Whatever I do to the top, I can do the bottom. So scratch that one, scratch that one. Take this one, take this one. Take that one, take that one. And I'm left with 9 over 2, which is way more manageable. Let's get all those zeros out of there. Okay, and because I don't want an improper fraction in my answer, I will change that. 2 goes into 9 4 times with 1/2 left over. 4.5 tons. How many tons of topsoil are the 3 trucks carrying all together? 4.5 tons. So this was a 2-part story problem. I had to add, and then I had to convert into tons, right? And there are 2,000 pounds in a ton. Great. Melissa buys 3 3/4 gallons of iced tea. Danita buys 7 quarts more than Melissa. How much tea do they buy altogether? Express your answer in quarts. So first of all, we need to know how many quarts in a gallon. Do you remember that one? How many quarts in a gallon?
It's 4 quarts.
4 quarts equals 1 gallon. 4 quarts equals 1 gallon. And if you don't have Siri right next to you to ask you those questions, you should have your conversion chart. Okay? I don't ask you to memorize those things. Those are things you can look up. Okay. Melissa buys 3 3/4 gallons of iced tea. 3 3/4 gallons of iced tea. Danita buys 7 quarts more than Melissa. How much did they buy altogether? Express your answer in quarts. So, first of all, we're going to convert what Melissa bought into quarts. Okay, so 3 3/4 gallons equals 3 3/4 times 1 gallon. And you know that 1 gallon equals 4 quarts because we just did that. 3 3/4 times 4 quarts. And distributive property or, yeah, distributive property. Okay, 3 times 4 plus 3/4 times 4, right? I just multiplied the 4 times the 3 and then the 4 times the 3/4, right? I got 12 plus 12/4, and we can switch that right away. 12/4 if we divide both by 4. 12 by 4 is 3, 4 by 4 is 1, okay, that just equals 3. And our new answer there is 12 plus 3 is 15. Oop, wrong color. 15 quarts. So Melissa bought 15 quarts. Great. Danita bought 7 quarts more than Melissa, more than. So if she has 15, Danita bought 15 plus 7. So she bought 22 quarts, more than Melissa. So that doesn't mean 7 plus 15. Well, it does, but it also means 7 plus 15. And then you have to add what Melissa bought with what Danita bought to get the total, which is 37 quarts. Okay, that's the total number right there. Be careful with your English language. You have to read carefully. You know what? It's never the math that messes you guys up. It's always reading carefully. Okay? How much tea did they buy all together? 37 quarts. Number 4, and the last one. Marvin buys a hose that is 27 3/4 feet long. He already owns a hose at home that is 2/3 the length of the new hose. Okay, so this is the new one. And it is 27 3/4 feet long. Okay, he already owns a hose that is 2/3 the length of the new hose. So if it's 2/3, that means it's this long, 2/3 of the new hose, right? How many total yards of hose does Marvin have now? Okay, so that means we have to figure out what is the old hose and then add that to the new hose. So 2/3 of 27 3/4 feet. Okay, let's find that out. So that's just a multiplication problem. 2/3 times 27 3/4. That is a lot of numbers. Would you like to use the distributive property on that? I think I would, because that's just going to get us gigantic numbers if we don't. So let's do this. 2/3 times 27 plus 2/3 times 3/4. And then we've got 27 times 2 is 54/3 plus 6/12. Okay, and can I simplify this already? I can. Let's just simplify it before we even add them up and see if we can do that. Okay, so 3 goes into 54 how many times? 1, and then we've got 24 left, so 18. So okay, so this is 18, and this, if I divide by 6 and divide by 6, is 1/2. So my answer is 18.5 feet. Okay, so the old hose is 18.5 feet. The new hose is 27 3/4 feet. Now, how much total yards of hose? Yards! Boom, boom, boom. It's a big problem. Okay, so we need to convert into yards. I'm going to make some space. I'm going to delete this. We just used that to figure out how long the other one was. So 27 3/4 feet plus the old hose was 18.5 feet. So we're going to add those up. Okay, actually I'm going to draw them next to each other. Plus 18.5 feet. Okay, so 27 plus 18 is 27, 18, 15, carry the 1 is 45. And then 3/4 plus 1/2 and I need a common denominator there, so I'm going to switch this to 4 and this to 2. Okay, now I can add those together. So 45 and 5/4. Well, 5/4, I can make that into 4/4 plus 1/4, which would equal 46 and 1/4 feet. Okay, now I know how many total feet he has, right? Great. I hope you copied this down because now I'm going to erase this side because I need even more workspace. I hope you write a little bit smaller than I do. If you need a second piece of paper, you know, or use the side of the paper to get everything to fit, this one needs a lot of space, doesn't it? Okay. All right, so 46 and 1/4 feet equals 46 and 1/4 times 1 foot. Okay, but I want to change it into yards right there. So I need to say 46 and 1/4 times, what is a yard? 1 foot to a yard would be 1/3 of a yard. Now I'm going to use my distributive property again, and I'm going to say 46 times 1/3 plus 1/4 times 1/3. So 46 times 3, 18, 12, 13 is 138 thirds. Okay, and over here I've got 1/12. Now, can I simplify this? Let's see if I can. 138 divided by 3 would be 4. It's 12 with 18 left over is 6, 46. So this is 46 and 1/12. Wait a minute. That doesn't make sense, does it? Oh, I messed up. There was so much work in this problem that I messed it up. Totally. I was trying to multiply 46 times 3. I hope you caught that right there. Okay. 46 times 1 is 46. There we go. That was a big mistake. 46 divided by 3 would be 3, and then 1/6 is 5. And that's 15 with 1 left over and 1/3. Okay, so now I have 15 and 1/3 plus 1/12, and I can multiply this by 4 and get 12, and this by 4 and get 4. So now I can add 15 and 4/12 would be 5/12 yards. Sorry, I took you on a goose chase there for a minute. 15 and 5/12 yards. That's your answer. A lot of work on that one. A lot of work because we had to figure out first of all how long the second hose was, and then we had them both in feet, so we had to add them together, and then we had to convert them to yards. A lot of work. A lot of work, but our answer was 15 and 5/12 yards. Good. Okay, please go to your exit ticket, finish it up. No big story problems there, just easy conversion problems. Remember, you can use the distributive property or improper fractions as long as all of your answers are in mixed numbers. Your choice. Show your work. Show your work. Then come back and do the lesson 20 homework, and if you have questions on that, we will do that together in class. Good job.